Is the Earth being terraformed for a new occupant? Let's just stop and think about this for a minute. What we're about to see by the end of this video may have you very well questioning that, in fact, this is exactly what is happening. So let's start off by thinking what an invasion would look like. Now, sometimes invasions are very quick. Sometimes they're very slow, methodical, and deliberate. This one here is actually about a weed infestation, but it still works very well for the purpose of a, let's say, human invasion. An invasion of another species. Isn't that what a weed is? I mean, how many times have we experienced this, that you can see when a spring comes in that suddenly you have a whole lot of different plants, weeds, that weren't there a year ago. And some are very invasive. So let's continue. Our planet is being re-engineered. Terraforming. Do you know what terraforming is? Well, you're about to learn here. So terraforming is basically terraforming a planet. Now, you could have a moon, you could have a planet itself. We know, at least to the level of our intelligence right now, what it would take to actually terraform a planet. Now, one of the requirements will be water. Has to be water of some sort, either underneath, the soil, the crust. Preferably, it would be in abundance. Because you see, without water, we know that the process of photosynthesis, how plants, the whole growing cycle, the planet itself needs water to basically to keep itself, in a term, recharged. We have long speculated that you could literally, given the time parameters, transform a planet from a dying planet to a vibrant planet. It's called terraforming. However, I want to add the little caveat here. When we talk about, let's say, what would look to be a dead planet to a planet that would support Homo sapiens, bipedals, well, maybe our definition of what life and how a planet is supported is, how shall we say, narrowed to one perspective. When you look at a planet, we now know that planets come in all different sizes, all different masses, and have all different types of environmental conditions to them. Frozen, cold, temperate, warm. You can see here. So within all of these, we have seen these, what we suspect, hopefully to be on other planets. Within the last 2 years, remarkable discoveries have been made of other solar systems that appear that they can, in fact, support life. And this is how we break down planets. So planetary terraforming is real. Most likely, our planet has been and is being terraformed. So when you look at this, we go from basically 3 areas: atmospheric, astrophysical, and geologic. And within each one of these categories, there are subset groups that then begin to make the planet potentially habitable. And you can see, where do we get this from? Well, from our own planet. We've been here long enough that we can observe what really takes a planet to support life. We understand the process of planetary ecosystems. We understand, we're learning more and more. We're finding out, for instance, you can have a frozen planet, which appears to be frozen, but yet underneath the ice, it appears that life is thriving quite well. So the biosystems become very important when you think about terraforming a planet. Now, in this case, I propose our planet is being terraformed for a new occupant. And so as we continue to go on our journey, we see how we can actually begin to modify the weather of other planets. Why? Well, it seems that we're getting pretty good at it at our own planet. Although we don't have a clue as to how it ends up, but we are hoping for the best. Now, one of the things you have to understand when we talk about terraforming a planet is that you're literally transforming it from one ability to sustain a life form to a change of supporting a different type of life form. Now, this is why we have the billionaires, Elon Musk, Branson, so many others who have this desperate desire to get off of our planet, to get to Mars. Why Mars? Well, maybe there may be more there to it, right? And when you think about transforming a planet to support ideally one species to the next, you're going to see change. Evolutionary change is inevitable. And if there is one life form there and it's in the midst of being transformed to another condition, most likely two things are going to happen. The indigenous species will either die off or transmutate to adapt to the new environment. So we call it here geoengineering. And the basis for geoengineering is that we have been told is that global warming is a human catastrophe on the horizon. No, let me retract that statement. Not on the horizon. It is here now. And desperate measures must be taken now. Because if we don't take measures now, it will be too late. Now, we all have seen what we're about to witness in the following frames. The geoengineering techniques basically cover the full spectrum, everywhere from ocean fertilization all the way to the launching and establishing solar mirrors, solar reflectors, simulators. It's all part of the process. And it's very well defined. Our scientists and the current leading thought have spent great time in deciphering this. We see this through the increased reflectivity from low clouds. How many of us, I did a whole video on the fact that clouds are lowering. Now we know why. Thinning high clouds. Clouds act as a blanket, retaining heat. Increased reflectivity from aerosols pumped into the atmosphere. Increased reflectivity from deserts. Aeroforestation. Increased reflectivity of crops. Biomass energy with capture and storage. Ocean fertilization. So we can see by the using of space mirrors, and you thought that that was just nothing more than a bunch of conspiracy people. No, actually, it's very true, folks. Look what's happened. in the relativity of less than a quarter of a century, we are killing our planet? Or are we? Are we merely being prepared for the new occupant? We've been doing this a long time, folks. This is not a recent phenomenon. Someone has known something for a very long time. While the way that we now have the sophistication of using anywhere from private small aircraft to highly next generation modified drones. It's now been established that the spraying is in fact real. And if you don't want to believe it, well, to your own peril. Because you see, we know this now. This is not hypothetical. This is no longer just, how shall we say, people going off the reservation. No, it's real. Every one of us can look up on any day, most likely of the year, when it's clear and when it's cloudy. Now, I want you to notice something in the middle of the wake here. Look what it does to light. You're going to see the commonality of this. So think about this. You have the chemtrailing going on with all of its nasties, but apparently it is part of a very sophisticated machine. It's a vital part, component, element that has to be present in order for this machine to actually work. Now, you can look at this, folks. I have got thousands of pictures. I know many of you who are listening to me have pictures of your own. This is a systematic terraforming process. It's global. It's all over the world. We know the difference between contrails and chemtrails. This is not difficult. An average intelligent person should be able to understand this. Now let's start connecting the dots. We begin to see these fluorocarbon skies, what we call the slicks in the sky, as though petrochemicals have been sprayed. They have. We're seeing evidence of these shields, of these solar arrays showing up as rose petals. Many people have written to me and said, I've been taking pictures of the sun for a very long time. Never got them. Starting to get them. I myself have documented the strangeness of what is happening in our skies. We now know that they're using balloons, high altitude balloons, now as dispersal vehicles. So as you can begin to see, people are documenting their skies. These are the true observers. These are the true scientists. They observe, they document, they record. We know that this is happening. We have been trying to figure out why. What is the purpose? What is the reasoning? Why are we seeing such, how should we say, odd and strange aerial phenomenon that the overlords, those that would try to keep us enslaved, have tried to tell us and mock us and saying, well, this can be easily explained. Well, when you create it, I guess you can explain it. But you can no longer deny our planet is being fundamentally, physically terraformed. It's being changed. Artificial clouds now exist in our skies. And they're having strange effects on light patterns. We're seeing now the diversity of the multicolored light rays, obfuscations of skies taking place when there should not be happening. We're seeing different types of rays of light being recorded. Why? Is there something happening? Governments around the world who apparently are not in on this are as alarmed as the private citizens of Earth are. No, we will no longer just merely accept this as merely as a phenomenon that happens because you have ice crystals that happen to form around the sun. We no longer accept this. We say, stop lying to us, for we know you can't explain it. We, in fact, can probably do a better job than you. No, we know something is happening. Our planet is being terraformed all around, from pole to pole, from equator. It's happening, and it's happening with earnest. We're seeing changes in the chemistry makeup of our planet. Our atmosphere is being changed. Our soil is being changed. Our water is being changed. We see the accumulated effect of terraforming. We are living it. We are living in it. We are experiencing it. Every one of us are seeing it. We're seeing it in our species, the races that are dying prematurely with strange and unusual diseases. And we ask ourselves why, and they tell us that this is for our own good. They're telling us that our planet is heating up beyond that. If it doesn't stop, we will be extinct. But the very methods that they are deploying is causing our very extinction. We see now the transformation of clouds that are now being transformed and used against us, used to accelerate this terraforming. It's happening. We go up into the highest reaches of our Earth's atmosphere, way beyond 250 miles. And now it's having the effect. It's changing. The thermosphere, the mesosphere, the stratosphere, the troposphere, all have been fundamentally altered and changed. We have done this. We've done this to ourselves. And it is, in fact, a cause and effect. You start changing that which is above, you begin to change that which is below. And whether it is reflective aerosols, whether it's space mirrors, cloud seeding, whatever it is, we now know that it is changing our planet. And I dare say, not for our good. We are seeing the transformation of our planet. Take a good look. These are real. These are up there. Why? Well, I'll let you draw your own conclusions. But I can tell you this. You see all this? You see all that which is proposed, which is even in theory, is designed for changing us. And listen, if we can take what would be considered a hostile planet, interesting word, right? If you wanted to take over a planet, whether that planet be alive or not, it would be considered hostile. But it works both ways. If you can change a condition of a planet to another state, it means the current state we have can be changed. Is it going to get down to the part where we actually have to start building artificial spheres because our planet will no longer host our species, our bioforms? The Earth is being changed. Look at what they're doing to us already. For nearly 40 years, they have modified our food. You eat this, you are being modified. They have touched every type of food substance, modified. And if you think that you can immune yourself from this, there's no longer anything called organic. The soil has been modified. We can see it happening to the earth and to our bodies. No matter how you do the math, everything that we have done, and if it continues, only leads to one inevitable conclusion: extinction. Is human life finite? Will we become extinct? I believe the question we should be asking, are we already extinct?